Can a single moment of distraction turn into a lifetime of regret? In these crashes, it's not just metal that's bent. Lives are shattered. You'll witness the real cost of running red lights, texting behind the wheel, and chasing speed. These aren't just accidents. They're real endings for real people. Loss of control. It jumps the curb, crosses 3 lanes, and slams into the wall. Was it speeding or a moment's distraction? Could you stay calm in a situation like this? Let us know below. Ran the red light and caused chaos at the intersection. That few seconds of impatience can have a heavy cost. Ever tempted to run a yellow or red? Honest comments welcome. Impatience and an unsafe lane change. Didn't see the truck in the blind spot and rear-ended it hard. How many times do you check before changing lanes? Subscribe for safe driving tips. Unbelievable speed in a neighborhood. Result, lost control, hit a pole, and the car disintegrated. Tragic proof that speed kills. What should neighborhood speed limits be? Tell us in the comments. Rain and excessive speed. Control is lost, leading to a horrific head-on collision. How much do you slow down in the rain? Share your experience, like for awareness. A failed overtake attempt ends horribly. Entered the oncoming lane and hit head-on. Was the risk worth it? Ever witnessed dangerous overtaking? Comment below. Terrifying moments during a traffic stop. A driver loses control and slams into the stopped vehicles. What precautions do you take when approaching roadside emergencies? Share! This small car pulling onto the main road unsafely causes 2 trucks to collide head-on. A critical mistake, but who do you think is ultimately at fault in this chain reaction? Let's discuss. The car ahead blocked the view of roadwork, resulting in scraping a truck in a crash. Shows how crucial following distance is, right? What would you have done in this driver's place? Waiting your comments. A dangerous overtake attempt caused panic, forcing another car off the road into a crash. One mistake triggers another. But who do you think is really responsible for this incident? Comments might get interesting. Drunk truck driver enters the wrong lane, obliterating a small car. Alcohol and driving, a fatal mix. Never forget this rule. Remind others. Share for awareness. Drowsy driving. The driver drifts out of their lane, causing a devastating head-on crash. Fatigue behind the wheel is unforgiving. What do you do when sleepy on a long drive? Share in the comments. Trying to weave through traffic is risky enough. The car ahead brakes, they lose control completely, roll over, and hit a power pole. If this driver caused a blackout in your neighborhood, what would your first reaction be? Let us know in the comments and subscribe. Truck's uncontrolled speed and failure to see the car pulling out, dragging the car for kilometers is a horrific sight. When driving heavy vehicles, responsibility for speed control and attention increases dramatically. Pre-trip vehicle checks save lives. This driver skipped it, and the painful result, a rollover. Do you regularly check your tires, oil, and fluids before driving? Share your habits with us in the comments. Failing to look left and right before pulling out. Here's an example of simple yet dangerous carelessness. Unfortunately, the driver who had the right of way couldn't do much in this situation. A dangerous attempt to weave between trucks. They misjudged the speed and rear-ended the truck ahead. Impatience and miscalculations in traffic often lead to crashes like this. Hitting an ambulance with its lights and siren on, ignoring or not noticing is unacceptable. What if the patient inside was critical? Put yourself in that driver's shoes for a moment. Imagine the guilt. Share your thoughts. Here's the vital importance of following distance. Even a slight tap from behind can completely destabilize the car ahead, causing it to lose control. Safe distance is life distance. Never forget this rule. Oh my God, this is truly a horrific impact. The car is practically destroyed. We sincerely hope the driver survived this unbelievable crash. It's another stark reminder of how crucial seconds are in traffic. Driving properly in your lane, then suddenly another vehicle cuts you off, disrupting everything. Just like that, the white car loses control and hits the barrier. The other driver's mistake directly caused this crash. The truck driver either noticed the stopped white car too late or misjudged the braking distance. The result? A rear-end collision and a chain reaction. Maintaining distance and focus is doubly important in heavy vehicles. Forced to change lanes because of the stopped truck on the right, it seems the blind spot check was missed, didn't see the oncoming truck, and the collision becomes unavoidable. Always check mirrors and blind spots before changing lanes. Trying to enter the main road at such excessive speed and failing to stop. The truck crashing uncontrollably into the wall shows major negligence. Likely involves both a lack of speed control and a right-of-way violation. Nighttime, a truck driver fails to see parked vehicles, crashes into them, causing an explosion. Night vision and fatigue are major risks. What advice would you give to drivers who operate vehicles at night? Share in the comments. trying to get home a few minutes faster by crossing into the oncoming lane. This impatience ends in a horrific head-on collision with an oncoming vehicle. The cost of impatience shouldn't be this high. Please be careful when overtaking. It seemed impossible for the truck driver to notice this small car pulling out onto the main road unsafely. The result is devastating. How many times do you check the road before entering a main road or intersection? Never pull out unless sure. Let us know. Overheating and driving into a river? While it seems bizarre, it likely stems from a loss of control or an inability to think rationally under stress. Choosing safe ways to cool down is always the best option. Stopping suddenly in the middle of flowing traffic is extremely dangerous. The pickup truck driver behind couldn't react in time and crashed into a tree to avoid a collision. Predictable and consistent driving is essential for everyone's safety. A bus driver endangering passengers' lives by driving in snowy weather without snow tires. Veering into the forest to avoid hitting cars might seem like it saved the situation, but it's gross negligence. Imagine the fear those passengers felt. Playing on the phone while driving, this driver crosses into the oncoming lane and ends up under a pickup truck, paying the ultimate price. Let's repeat, looking at your phone is an invitation to disaster. Please don't do it. Railroad crossing lights and barriers are there to save lives. This truck driver ignored them, made the mistake of a lifetime, and the train offered no second chance. Never take risks at railway crossings. Alcohol and speed combined often lead to this: loss of control, a crash, and potentially being torn away from life. This duo is one of the deadliest combinations in traffic, worth remembering. Tries to change lanes without checking the mirror. Hits a car driving calmly ahead, sending it into a wall. A simple mirror check could have prevented this. Do you check your mirrors and blind spot when changing lanes? Write in the comments. The driver couldn't adjust speed for the curve according to the load. Result, failing to take the turn and overturning. Especially with loaded vehicles, adjusting speed correctly for curves is critical to reduce the risk of rollover. Disobeying traffic lights means entering intersections or main roads unsafely. This driver likely ran a red or didn't stop, endangering traffic flow and causing a crash. The lights are there for a reason. The pickup truck aggressively squeezes the small car, forcing it into the oncoming lane and causing a crash. This kind of aggressive behavior is very dangerous. What are your general thoughts about drivers of large vehicles in traffic? We await your comments. Here's another consequence of changing lanes abruptly without signaling. The driver behind has no chance to react and a crash occurs. Signaling is the simplest and most important way to communicate your intentions to other drivers. Failing to see the oncoming car in low visibility conditions, one of the common causes of head-on collisions. What advice would you give to drivers who have to be on the road in challenging weather like fog or heavy rain? Share in the comments. Even on dedicated racetracks, pushing the limits carries a heavy price. Competition here seems to have gotten out of control. Motorsports always involve risk, but this crash starkly shows what can happen when those boundaries are exceeded. Fatigue behind the wheel is unforgiving. This fuel truck driver succumbs to fatigue, crosses into the wrong lane, and initiates a chain reaction crash. Taking regular breaks on long drives is vital. Please rest if you're tired. A vehicle stopping suddenly on the road and a truck unable to slow down sufficiently from behind. This situation triggers a major chain reaction crash. Avoiding sudden stops and maintaining following distance are both critical for this reason. A bus driver wanting to finish the route quickly, ignoring traffic rules and right-of-way, endangering the lives of dozens of passengers inside. The responsibility in public transport is much greater. Imagine the fear of those passengers. The truck driver miscalculating the width of the load or the narrowing road, resulting in a head-on collision with the oncoming pickup. Calculations regarding clearance and road conditions are crucial for heavy vehicle drivers. Pulling out from a side street onto a main road without stopping to check, it's like challenging fate. It's necessary to correctly judge the speed and distance of oncoming vehicles and respect the right-of-way. This driver, thinking they're on a racetrack, crashes with enough speed and force to potentially overturn a truck. Speed limits and road conditions exist for a reason. Roads are not racetracks. braking suddenly to avoid hitting a pedestrian, getting rear-ended. A classic case. Rear-end collisions are very common. Has a situation like this, where you were a victim of tailgating, ever happened to you? Tell us in the comments. The driver pulls out without checking, causes a crash, and then instead of braking, panics and hits the gas, making things worse. Reacting correctly in panic is difficult. Can you imagine the shock and panic this driver experienced?